Team Awesome is back!
That's right, everybody. Welcome back to Tangled Talk with Team Awesome. We are now on episode 19, which is episode 9 of the hiatus, because guess what? The hiatus is still going on in the United States this upcoming weekend, starting on the 10th. On the 9th. Germany's getting Happiness Is, which we've already gotten in the U.S., but on the 10th, they're starting new episodes that we have not seen yet. At the rate we're going, Germany is going to get the rest of the season 2 before the U.S. even ends their hiatus. But the good news is that Disney now has put all of the season 1 back up for streaming. It's missing Queen Ferde and Pascal's story, but they're both available on demand or if you have cable or DirecTV. Kelsey actually emailed Disney Channel being like, so why is it missing these 2 episodes? And they're like, oh, they expired?
It's a licensing thing. They say that they get the episodes and they're licensed a certain amount of time, but I'm like, but these weren't even on like the past year. I'm like, when did it run out?
God only knows.
I was like,
so
okay.
Weird.
Yeah. Shout out to Christina at Disney Now helping me out. She was great.
Thank you, Christina. You actually answered her unlike every single other person we tried to talk to.
She did. It was awesome.
So we don't know if this is because the Air More Tangled campaign is actually working or if they're gearing up to end the hiatus. And I don't know. I know a lot of people are hoping that maybe they'll just stick the rest of season 2 on Disney Now, even if they don't air it on TV right away. Because I know that, sometimes channels will put them up on the online app option before they'll air them. Like I know Steven Universe does that a lot, but I mean, not that Cartoon Network and Disney Channel remotely run the same way.
Mm-hmm. I'm at the point where I'm just like, do it. just do it.
But either way, guys, thank you for all the help that you've been doing so far. Keep up the good work. We've actually had multiple other sources do a call out to the Air More Tangled thing. Like offhand, Disney had that video recently that was all about what the heck happened to Tangled, and they did a shout out to Air More Tangled.
That was awesome.
I don't know. That was very cool. I was not expecting that. I was like, my thing is doing a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what. So when season 1 came back up on Disney Now, I legitimately cried because I had this sensation of, oh my God, I'm making a difference. This thing I'm trying to do is actually doing something. Even though I don't know for a fact that that's true, I definitely felt that way.
I already loved his videos and I was very happy to see that he had made a video. Because that's his second video about the series.
Yeah, I remember that first one. It was just about how good the series is. And then this one's a very short one about, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so guys, don't assume that this means that we've won. Don't stop hounding Disney Channel. Keep asking them to air reruns. Keep asking them to start making the episode promos again. The petition has over 700 signatures now. After Christmas, it started kind of crawling, slow going. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we're in the beginning of February, and I think we have, 200 more than we did since Christmas.
Well, didn't you say it just went up 30 people out of nowhere?
Yeah, it really did. On, 5 days ago, it was at 695, and then yesterday it was at 725, and that was I don't know where these 30 people came from, but thanks guys. I mean, seriously, that's amazing because every time we reach a milestone, I retweet the petition and I talk about how far we've come and whatnot. I just did an update talking about the Annies, which we'll get to in a second. But also going back to the series being streamable. Even if you don't feel like watching it, stick it on in the background on a tab and mute it or just turn it down or something and have it running in the background because the numbers that Disney Channel sees, they will see that people are interested in this series and it will give them, something to go off of. And so, I mean, I streamed the whole thing at work. It was my background noise for 3 days. Well, 2.5 days. And honestly, that was a good old time. I was watching old episodes that I hadn't watched in quite a while. I was, kind of doing how we're doing the series review and doing season 1 review. It was oh man, I haven't watched these episodes since I watched it for the review, or in some cases I didn't even bother to rewatch it then because I know what happens in this episode. But it really made me miss the characters again, not just the main crew, but going through season 1 and going through all of Corona's citizens. I'm first of all, when you just have it on and you're just listening to it, you pick up on things that you wouldn't normally pick up when you've got the visuals to distract you. For example, I'm even more appreciative of the background music than I ever was, and that's saying something because I'm the one who keeps screaming at Disney to give us a score soundtrack. But like, I actually was able to hear Zachary Levi's voice in Feldspar, and I had not been able to do that before. But this time I'm like, oh no, that was like totally Zach. I could totally hear it. And so I've got that. I mean, I've been cracking up for days about how funny old lady Crowley is. Like, she's always funny when she's on screen, but like now in retrospect, she's hysterically funny. Like, this little old lady, she is so freaking weird. I love her.
The one thing that I noticed going back and watching like a couple episodes in a row, especially the beginning ones, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't blame Cass for being mad at Eugene because he's kind of annoying. Especially when you, like, if I didn't love him with everything I had, he would annoy me. But I was like, man, you are annoying.
You have to remember the things that Eugene does is he deliberately antagonizes people, and if somebody doesn't like him, he's more likely to deliberately antagonize them. So like, he's really on the Captain and Cassandra's backs in the first couple episodes because, well, you don't like me, so I'm going to make myself unlikable. You know, and it's just like, Eugene, that is counterproductive, darling. You know. So yeah, so go ahead and stream the series, stream season 1, stream all the way through season 2 because, you know, the more you can, it's great. And even though I've talked to Chris Sonnenberg a couple times, and he assures me that he does not know when it is starting up in the U.S., but he does keep posting things on social media saying soon. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that he's hiding something from us, but it could be that he has like an idea of the month that we're getting it coming back, but he doesn't have an actual date. So, I mean, a really fanciful part of me is still holding out hope that at some point Disney's going to be like, surprise, it's next week. You know?
Well, I was going to say next week is the 14th, and that's usually when you get an idea about the March schedule. So maybe we'll know next week.
I mean, like, I know that we're like hounding the Disney Channel calendar, but like they keep like seizing up on Wednesdays
they won't update
and then like
it.
not putting out, you know, the update for like 5 days, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's the rest of those days that we didn't update for some reason. And it's like, guys, come on, we're like desperately waiting for something. Stop being like this. Yeah,
like the whole weekend of the 24th from like Thursday on isn't up yet. I've been checking it like religiously.
It's driving me crazy because it's just like, I mean, it's getting at the point where I'm getting like legitimately angry because I'm like, it's like they not only does it come across as they don't care, but they're just toying with us, you know? It's just like, come on, people, we have like this thing that we're waiting for, and you're like, not only are you radio silent, you're not updating your calendar on a daily basis, you won't answer us when we email you, just like, I mean, and then you find out that Disney Channel Germany is like, oh yeah, we'll answer you like on the same day.
Yeah, they're like, you should message them. I'm like, okay.
Suggestion Disney Channel Germany, but Disney Channel America doesn't answer people.
What was that? What was that post? There was a post a couple weeks ago we all commented on, and it was Tangled, and they were like, "Oh, what's your dream this year?" or something like that. And like we had a bunch of the fandom get on it, like all the comments on it were like, "Bring the show back."
That was awesome. Yeah, when February started up, the Tangled's Facebook page did a post about, you know, go and live your dream. What's your dream this new year? And so we just rallied the troops, and literally like half of the comments are people being like, I want the series back. I want you to like promote it. I want you to show reruns. And part of me wonders if that's what made them throw up season 1.
I don't know, man. Like, that was awesome.
Were they like, oh shit, and placating us? or did we actually, I still hope that we actually were making a difference in that they're actually hearing what we're saying, even if they're not like answering us directly. If they are doing anything to show that they are hearing what we're saying, then by all means, Disney.
I was just so proud. I was so proud of the fandom. I was like, this is awesome.
It was, because I went back and I checked on that post like for a couple days afterwards, and it's like the first, you know, couple dozen is people who are talking about wanting the series back, and everybody went ahead and liked like every single post so that all of those were right at the top. And here's the thing, is that was actually kind of a little subtle advertising campaign, because that means that anybody who like saw the post saw those comments. And we are finding out on a regular basis that people who are Tangled fans don't know there's a series. And so people would be looking at that being like, there's a series? There's a season 2 of the series, you know? So I don't know, maybe I know that I've seen a couple people in the tags recently, the past couple weeks, where they are watching the series for the first time. Like, I saw someone make some comment on, I want to say it was Rapunzel's enemy, and it was just like yesterday, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking funny. I mean, she's like, thank you for such a warm welcome, and then somebody boos her, and I'm like, that's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, you're watching the series for the first time, and it's like, okay, so like I'm excited that I keep seeing more people discover the series, and that's great. So what I was saying earlier is that on Saturday, February 2nd, was the 2019 Annie Awards, and Amanda Jolly won for the bird designs for Rapunzel, Cassandra, and Father, and the special birds in Freebird, and she won the best character design in animated television or broadcast production. So, like, last year, even though we were nominated for like 3 or 4 Annies, we didn't win any of them, and we actually won one this year. We were up for 3, and we won one of them, and that was like really cool. Like, I was not expecting that, and I know that I have given Freebird flack, but like, and even I've especially given like the character designs flack, but like, I'm so excited for her, and I am so proud of her, and that is just so great. Like, that's encouraging, you know, because that's just another bullet in the chamber that I can be like, hey, by the way, Disney Channel, it's award winning, you know, and we've already got, you know, Tom Caulfield's Daytime Emmy, and now we've got that, and that's like super great. And it's really exciting. I mean, congratulations, Amanda. And that's amazing. And I am still salty that the songs and score from Secret of the Sun Drop did not win.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Mickey Mouse short that won. Like, that's one of my favorite ones, but it did not deserve to win music over Secret of the Sun. Like,
I thought that was one we had in the bag, too. I was like, okay, well, if we don't win anything, we're going to win music. No.
Absolutely. When I saw all of the things that we were up against, I was like, oh, it's no contest, you know? And I was like, because when Ellie and I went to the Annies last year, everything that Tangled failed to win, I could at least say, okay, well, yeah, but that other thing was really good, too. You know? Like, the thing that won deserved to win. In this particular instance, I was like, no. Yeah. No. Ready as I'll ever be should have won. I'm sorry. What are you doing?
That was so sad. I'm sad the deep cut didn't win either, but that's okay. It's okay.
I do. It was kind of though. It was kind of fun knowing that there were several people who were all streaming at the same time. So like all of a sudden you'd have like 5 different people in the tags be like, no, I should have won. I'm like, that was satisfying. That was great. So, speaking of Germany airing the series before us, we have more descriptions for episodes. Got updated on the 4th. So 2 days ago, we got 2 new episodes. And we also have some from last week that we had not recorded since then. And so even though those have been circulating for a while, we haven't talked about them here yet. So, to dive right into that, we now know what the 2-part hour-long tentpole episode is going to be. It's Rapunzel and the Great Tree. The path of the Black Rocks leads Rapunzel and her companions to the Great Tree, an ancient magical place. They encounter the unpredictable Hector and discover the Moonstone magic formula. Hector proves to be a dangerous adversary to the group, and Rapunzel realizes that her only chance to save her friends is the uncontrollable Moonstone magic formula. So, I mean, first of all, I had to, like, Google Translate this. My first question was, now, is it Moonstone or is it Opal? Because, I mean, it is the word that they was used in German is Moonstone. But my question is that an accurate translation to what it is in English? Yeah. In German, do they call it the Moonstone instead of the Opal? I don't know the answer to that. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was a literal Moonstone also on top of the Opal. And also, how would Hector have gotten that thing out of the cage, you know? Granted, that would just be one more mystery, like I was talking about the other week. But also, one of the things that sprung to my head is Hector Lord Demanitus? Because we know we're getting Lord Demanitus in season 2 at some point. Now, it might be flashback, and calling him Hector might be throwing us off the trail. But it also could just be random thing. Or what if he's like a new disciple of Gentiri? Or, I mean, there's a whole lot that this could be, but it's very super exciting because, yay, we're kind of getting back to plot finally.
Yes, it just reeks of plot. It's beautiful.
So I'm so excited about that. I'm excited because Tom tentpole episodes always have 2 songs. I mean, we always think a song, but it's always 2. I mean, I went over all of the tentpole episodes so far, and I'm like, nope, it's always been 2, which means we're going to be getting 2 new songs. And like super crazy fingers crossed that it's like Eugene solo and the Lance and Eugene duet.
Yes.
Like, that is what I'm hoping for, because yes, I need that in my life so badly. And the best part about that is that if it's one or both of those songs, like, the description doesn't talk about at all what the song might be about.
Yeah.
So that's like extra exciting, because we always know there's like a secret hidden plot, you know? Like, they only give us like what, there's always like I say, there's always like an A plot and a B plot, and they never tell you what the B plot's going to be, but sometimes the B plot is as important as, if not more important than the A plot. So it's just like, I'm super excited. Yay. 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 Yay.
I'm excited
Honestly,
for the mid-season, but I think I'm more excited for the next one than the mid-season right now.
Honestly though, when I look at all of the episodes we've got descriptions for so far, we're gonna come back with a bang, and this is gonna be a whole bunch of really great episodes, like all kinds of different plots and like all exciting in different ways. And so the next one is called Rapunzel Day 1. Rapunzel accidentally gets hit by an amnesia spell that causes her to forget everything since she left the tower. Now, the first question,
yes.
the first question that a lot of people have been asking is like, is this since she left the tower the very first time, or since she left the tower after her hair was cut? And I'm kind of assuming it's going to be after her hair was cut. And so I'm anticipating that it's going to be she thinks she should have short hair. Like, Gothel's death is fresh in her mind. She doesn't know how to be a princess. She knows nothing about the outside world. She knows she's a princess at least, but like, she's not going to know who Cass or Lance or Hookfoot or Fidela or Owl or Short. Well, she knows who Shorty is, but like, she's not going to understand the caravan. She's not going to remember anything that happened in season 1 of the first half into season 2. And like, this just occurred to me right now. So like, we know we're going to have another episode with Stallion. So what if like Eugene casually mentions her and Rapunzel's like, who? She's never heard of her before. I mean, this is like, that's going to be super exciting. Like, I mean, I don't know who wrote that one, but it reeks of Ricky Roxburgh. That is such a Ricky plot. But I guess
it's like, oh, could this one be painful? I bet Ricky wrote it.
Probably. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Accurate. Yeah, so I'm like super excited about that one.
Yes.
Also excited to see how it gets undone. Like, I don't know if they're gonna be like, oh well, they're just going to it's gonna wear off, if they're just gonna have to figure out the counter spell, if they're going to have to gather ingredients or something like that, and that's just like a bit of a trial gathering the ingredients. So this one promises to be like fun.
They like have no idea that she's under this spell. She just busts out of the caravan. She's like, "Where the hell am I?"
Oh my god, why is my hair long? You know?
That would be awesome.
Oh my god, what if she tries to heal someone?
Oh no, baby.
She's gonna be so upset. Oh my gosh.
Gets me right in the
This
feels,
is gonna
man.
be amazing.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm so excited for this episode.
Honestly, I really hope, though, that it's pre her getting her haircut, so she doesn't remember Eugene. Because that angst.
Awesome.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, if it is, yeah, I mean, she might vaguely remember having met him, but she won't be in love with him
She's
yet.
like, "Why are you touching me?" Like,
Get off! What the hell, man? You're scaring me. Smacking people upside the head. Oh my god.
I'm in. I don't care what
Anyway.
route this episode takes. I'm in.
Anyway, this episode's going to be a ride, and I'm really excited for it. Like, I can't wait to see how everybody else reacts to her not being able to remember stuff. Like, if it is before she leaves the tower the first time, Eugene's going to be freaking heartbroken, man.
Oh,
I know.
It's going to be great. And Cass is going to be like, what? But we're best friends. And Lance is going to be like, cavalier and joking about it. Oh, that was, you know? Oh, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I miss Lance so much. Like, Like, I was just thinking about her earlier today, and I was thinking about, like, all of his little, like, one-liners and all of his great expressions, and, like, I can't wait to get all this back. I am like, come on, Disney Channel, give it back to us. You have no idea. Why are you torturing us this way? Okay, so last episode that we have so far, we've got this hook, which we have known about for quite a while, and it's finally here. To lift everyone's spirits after the trauma from the last several episodes, Puzzle takes her companions to Hook Hand's concert, but the reunion of the Hook brothers awakens elusive memories in Hookfoot. So this is going to be like, something's up. I was going to say this is going to be like, there's something up with Hookfoot, except like that's totally an episode title. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if he's going to be like, this is going to be him realizing that he actually does want to be a dancer and like try to pursue it. Because like he's always said that he wants to dance, but like seeing his brother, like Hook Hand appears to be the older brother. That's just the vibe I get. You know, they're like two past middle-aged adult men, so it doesn't really matter, but you still get that impression. So seeing Hook Hand living his dream might make Hookfoot be like, what the hell am I even doing? Like, I lost the woman I love. Am I going to let go of my dream also? You know? So, which, by the way, going back and rewatching, there's something about Hookfoot. That is such a cute episode. Like, oh my gosh.
It's one of my favorites in season 2. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do, but I rewatch it all the time.
The funny thing is I actually went back and I was like scrolling through like just my posts around that time for that episode. And I was like, yeah, like the very first thing I said was I was not expecting this to be cute. And I really liked it. Like, I remember getting all excited about Serafina being plus size and considered beautiful. And that was like great. And now I'm like, no, it's a really cute and impactful episode. And we've got all the arguing and we've got all the heartfelt stuff. And we've got anthropomorphic games and
yes,
and all the one-liners and Lance and that trident and like, so yeah, I'm all about that episode. It's great. Also, I will say that going and rewatching all the episodes, most of the episodes that I previously didn't really like have grown on me, at least in some respect. Because like I'm like, I remember way back when I didn't like Rapunzel's Enemy, and that was because it just wasn't the same vibe as the other two episodes at all. And so I'd come to expect a certain mood, and that completely broke that mood. But now, in retrospect, I go back and I watch it, and I actually really like it a lot. Because it's like, you've got, you know, Eugene and the whole gopher thing, and you've got Rapunzel's very valuable lesson that actually I had to pay attention to for myself, and all that fun stuff. And now, like, as we've seen the series progress, I really like Monty, because we watch Rapunzel and Monty's relationship progress throughout season 1, and it's just so funny. It's just, like, the way that they greet each other so coldly all the time, and like, but at the same time, you're watching Monty like gradually respect her more and more. So like, I kind of wonder if when they get back to Corona, if he'll kind of greet her warmly, you know. So like, in retrospect, I actually really like that episode now. In fact, I think the only episode that has maintained its level of thought process is Max's Enemy. Yeah. And now, since everything else has raised up, that one's dropped down. You know? Because it's like, I think the best part of Max's Enemy is... the best part of Max's Enemy is Lance's speech about big hops and all that kind of stuff when he was a kid and he played hopscotch. So that whole speech was, like, amazing. But, like, having Lady Kane return was pretty cool. And, you know, so, I mean, there's stuff to recommend it. And Max's Nightmare is, like, ridiculous and laughable. And it's not like it's a bad episode, but it is just, it's not quite up there with other stuff. And so it's like that has now dropped to probably the bottom of my list.
I will say one of the best parts of that episode is when the captain's like, looks like we've got ourselves an old-fashioned horse race challenge. And Eugene's like, what? Eugene's all of us. We're like, what is happening?
Everybody else is cheering. Eugene's just like, I don't know what's going on.
It's like my favorite part.
Yeah, so I mean, there's minor things that I really, really like about it. Like, also every time, like, Eugene and Lance get stuck with Dwayne, like, they're not even cops, and they're like, here, take him in. And you're like, what the hell's going on here, man? This is not my job. So, I mean, like I said, so yeah, there's stuff to recommend it. It's just it has now moved to probably the bottom of my pile. And that is even below Not in the Mood, which we all know I like always use Not in the Mood as like my benchmark of I don't like these episodes. But at least Not in the Mood is like funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to like talk about that episode tonight. So I'm not going to go into that yet because we have an episode ahead of that one. So the first episode on our season 1 docket is Painter's Block. And like realizing that this was supposed to come right after Queen for a Day.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this is the very first episode that we like got a previously on Tangled. And that was like shocking.
We were like, oh.
Also, Eugene's voice when he says it is like, what is this bedroom voice that's previously on Tangled, Eugene? Like, holy cow.
Tell me more.
I was not expecting that. Right?
Were they like at Zachary Levi's house and they're like, Zach, and he's like asleep and they're like, Zach, and he's like, huh? He makes the little Eugene waking up noise, and then they're like, can you just say previously on Tangled?
Previously. Can I go back
And
to
then they're like, okay, you can go back to sleep. Good night. And he's like, okay, good night.
He's like, whatever, okay. Someone needs some Eugene, I'm in.
And that's exactly how it happened.
It's canon. It's law. It happened. It's true.
Like, seriously, I remember hearing that the first time, and I'm like, I need just that audio clip right there, previously on Tangled. That'll be great. You know, I can use that for whomever I feel like. So this episode was, like, so intense because, first of all, we're showing, like, repercussions of Queen for a Day and, like, the things that Rapunzel was mentally going through. And like I said when we were discussing Queen for a Day about how I will defend Rapunzel to the death over her decision in Queen for a Day, I look at this episode, and I know that a lot of people complain about, oh, she didn't have time to check on Varian, she was too busy taking a painting class. Do you people realize that she was literally traumatized?
Ooh, this episode gets me heated.
Traumatized. Like, this girl spent 18 years in a tower being emotionally abused and not being allowed to make any of her own choices. And as soon as she is given a responsibility, it goes that awry. Like, seriously, she, like, I can't, okay. I need to, like, find words because I don't have words right now. I just have sound effects.
It's okay. I have words because this gets me heated.
Okay, go.
I can usually deal with people and their opinions on this show, but when people were like, Rapunzel should have done this instead of just going to take a painting class, I snapped, and I still snap to this day every time somebody says it, because she wasn't just going to take this painting class. She spends 18 years of her life with the only thing she can really do, and the only thing she is painting. And so when she doesn't know how to do that anymore, she literally doesn't know how to be her anymore. So how is she supposed to help somebody if she can't be herself? So I'm like, y'all gotta cut this girl some slack. She's gotta go.
A saying that I have seen used, and it's been used in these trying political times in the United States, and it references taking an airplane flight. And whenever they're giving you the safety instructions on the airplane flight and they talk about the oxygen bag dropping down, the instructions are always secure it to your face before you help your children. And the reason why that is because you cannot help others if you cannot help yourself. You cannot help other people breathe if you are not breathing. And so her getting her painting back is her allowing herself to breathe so that she is capable of helping other people. Like, seriously, she wasn't just taking a painting class. It wasn't freaking frivolous. It was like, literally, like you said, it was her identity that she could not find. And I get so irritated that people think that she needs to value other people more than herself, and she spent her entire life valuing other people more than herself, and it's about dang time she's allowed to value herself more than other people, and not even 100% of the time. You know? Like, she literally, in Queen for a Day, her choosing the people of Corona was her valuing other people over herself, because herself would not have sent Eugene off to his potential death.
Yep.
Herself would not have let a friend get turned away at the gates and thrown out in the snow. She had to do so many things that were against her nature because she's a princess now, and it backlashed on her.
And now she needs to be a little bit selfish to get herself figured out. And I'm just like, this girl's never selfish. Just let her, for 2 seconds, let her do what she needs to do to bring herself back.
The vulnerability of her not knowing who she was is what allowed Sugracha to get her in the first place. Like, everybody else, like, I'm actually really curious when it comes to Feldspar, Friedborg, and Ulf. I'm very curious what their mindset was. She was able to get to Lance because Lance was discouraged because his art was not good enough to sell. And it's not like he wants to be a great artist, but he does want money. And so she was able to use his desire for money to get into his head. And so you have these 3 other characters, 2 of whom are nonverbal and 1 of whom was the first to go. And so we didn't see any of the process, you know? And so I'm really curious what the in was for her with those 3. That's like really interesting. So this episode was also really fun in some respects because, like, I was starting to think we were never going to see a TV series smolder. Like, what the heck? Like, oh my god.
And since then we've gotten levels.
Since then we have found out there are levels to the smolder. Like, it's glorious, man. But yeah, so we got the smolder, which was hysterical, and her just, like, waltzing on by him, like, didn't even look. She didn't even look at him. Do you guys realize that? He does the smolder, and she doesn't even look at him. She's just like, I know, I need to get inspired, and runs right past him. Like, geez Louise, that is so great. But yeah, so, like, the cool thing with this is that it reintroduced the idea of Jean-Thierry and really introduced the idea that Jean-Thierry is a current threat. Because we did not have that before. We had in a long, long time ago, there was this sorcerer, you know? And so, you know, Jean-Thierry is actually introduced for real because he's, like, in this freaking portal and he's alive and he wants out. And that's, like, a big deal. You know, you got a monster in the cage and the monster wants out. And this most recent viewing, I noticed that Xavier said that they let out the disciples of Jean-Thierry, not just one disciple. That, like, we got more we got to worry about, you know? And so I really, like, this just is really, this is the beginning of the whole Jean-Thierry is going to be a big deal thing, you know? Like, I didn't realize Jean-Thierry was going to be a big deal until this episode. And then it was just sort of like, oh, that's actually something we got to watch out for, isn't it? So
I wonder if it'll come up in the mid-season.
I hope so. Well, I'm wondering if the Great Tree has anything to do with Jean-Thierry, or if, like, is Hector one of his disciples, or is Hector Demanitus, and that's how Jean-Thierry comes up. I'm like, give us the episodes. Okay. So, I mean, it was really kind of cool that Cass got another guard gig and, like, out of nowhere, like, the captain just comes up to her. He's like, oh, okay, so, like, I've got an assignment for you, you know? And so that was really cool. And so she spends, like, half the episode in her guard armor. And that was, like, unexpected and awesome. I loved that Rapunzel and Lance were hanging out doing an extracurricular activity, and Eugene wasn't there. I love the idea that, like, they don't need him as a buffer, that they're actually friends on their own merit. That's, like, super awesome. Because, like, Rapunzel was the first person, other than Eugene, obviously, but Rapunzel was the first person that Lance, like, started to like and respect, because he actually respected her by the end of The Return of Strongbow. And you got to remember that this would be Lance's 3rd appearance at this point. So, like, he's, like, getting more cozy with the crew. He's, like, sitting, like, Cass was sitting in the armchair eating a cupcake, and he was just sort of sitting on the arm of the chair, and previously, like, she couldn't stand to be around him. And so, like, you're watching Lance get along better and better with the various characters, and it's super great, and I really love that. I also love how before Rapunzel is outright hypnotized and possessed, Like, she's unnecessarily testy with Eugene. Like, when he looked at her painting and he said it lacked Rapunzelosity, and she's like, everything doesn't have to be, like, great all the time. I mean, everything is beautiful and you don't have to, like, be critical. And it's just like, calm down, you know? Like, we could all tell something was, like, seriously wrong already at that point because she was already getting snippy with him for, like, no reason. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the interesting things about this episode is that Eugene spends the whole episode being, like, extremely supportive. And Rapunzel's just getting testier and testier, and it's really, like, awesome. Like, because then it gets to that, like, argument in the boat, or if you want to call it an argument, since she was upset and he was just sad, or she was angry and he was sad, so he wasn't really fighting back. But
she snapped on him. I was like, yes, bring it on.
Them arguing is, like, great stuff because it's like I love that they have such a realistic relationship, like, possession notwithstanding. I love that, like, they're allowed to not always agree on things, and they don't even have to always be cheerful with each other, and I'm glad that they're allowed to show that aspect of their relationship because that's just true of relationships, you know? But yeah, so it's like Eugene is just so freaking worried about her. And, like, when she goes to step down into the boat and she's got on shoes and she says it feels normal and her whole tone of voice is really just, like, toned down and bland. And it's just like, I really love the acting in this one because of that. I mean, you see all of these little things that it's just getting more and more obvious that something's wrong and everybody else is trying to figure it out. And, you know, we as the audience know what's going on because we're watching it happen. But just showing the little ways in which the other characters get to see it. And it's just so super cool. But then, like, despite that being the case, Eugene is the one who's able to get through to her when she's, like, in the middle of painting the tree at the tree. And you know, so they're, like, all zapping all their energy into the tree. And you know, she's able to snap out of it for his sake. And that's just, like, true love. Yay. Huzzah. I love them forever. It's beautiful. But, like, so then, you know, they get dropped off the cliff, which is nice and dramatic. And I actually remember Germany had a teaser that included clips from this episode. So first we just had, like, the Green Goblin lady, and we had no idea who she was. And then we had the moment where Eugene and Cass are falling, and Eugene reaches down and grabs Cass's hand. And that was, like, our really first good indication that they wouldn't let each other die if push came to shove, you know? It's like, so that was really exciting all by itself. But then, like, Rapunzel trying to pull them up, and she can't get a grip on the ground. And so then she kicks off her shoes, and he's just so, like, he just knows that everything's going to be okay because Rapunzel got rid of her shoes. And that's just so cute. And that also makes me equally angry at Wreck-It Ralph 2 for putting her in sneakers.
Yes.
Like, Ariel gets to be barefoot, and Ariel, who actually enjoys shoes, gets to be barefoot, and Rapunzel's in sneakers. And I'm like, that's just not in her character, guys. It's really not.
You fools, you made that film. You should know better.
They'll put, like, pins out of her with shoes on, and I'm like, man, I want to buy this, but I don't want to buy it anymore.
Right? I want to buy it, but she's in shoes. Why she got shoes on, man? Just, I mean, if you don't want to draw really detailed feet, draw, like, Aurora feet, where they're basically, like, have you ever looked at, like, Aurora's feet when she's dancing in the woods? She has, like, no toes, literally. Well, it's because the woman who was doing the rotoscope acting for them was wearing nylons. And so they didn't have toes for reference. So they drew the shape of the foot and ignored the toes. They're like, who cares? It's just a couple scenes, you know? But like,
that reminds me of this book that my niece had, and it was like a Disney How to Tie Your Shoe book, and it had Rapunzel in it. And I was like, what kind of sick joke is this?
There's actually this one book I seen one time. It was like kind of like the Encyclopedia of Princesses, and it talked more about like what their life is like after their movie is over. And that book actually had Ariel like literally obsessed with shoes. Like she thought shoes were the greatest things because she's got these great feet, and now she has decorations for her feet. And so it's like, so Ariel loves shoes and Rapunzel does not. People, come on, get with the times. So at the end of the episode, we have that great collaborative mural that Rapunzel and everybody else was painting, which was like super great. You have Friedborg's completely black corner, which is just hysterically funny. She's just painting a void over there. But then I also really liked, I wasn't the first person to notice this, but it was super great that Lance paints a genie lamp on his part of the mural, which is funny because, haha, he was Genie in Aladdin. Get it, everyone? But yeah, that was fun. And I love that they do throw in nods to the princess movies. Like in Secret of the Sun Drop, how like one of her presents is Belle's dress. No, that's not a present. It's just the dress she's supposed to be wearing for her party is Belle's dress. And, you know, you got all that fun crap going on and just little nods here and there. It's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoy that they throw those in because there's no reason not to, you know? So it's just fun. Also because that's a callback to, like, the actual movie where, like, Rapunzel's tower is filled with references to the princess movies. Because why not? You know, because Disney does Easter eggs. So, yeah. So Painter's Block I really, really enjoyed. Like, there's so many little parts of it that I really, really like. And it's very, very hard for me to actually make a list of favorite episodes, and I wouldn't call it one of my favorite episodes, but it's probably one of my second favorite episodes, you know? It's so hard to say, and the more episodes we get to, the harder it becomes, because I'm not good at placing that kind of favoritism on things in the first place. So the next episode is Not in the Mood, which is, you know, it's, like I said, my opinion has changed a little bit. There is funny aspects to it. It has its good moments, but overall, I think my biggest issue with it is that they wanted to reach the conclusion of Varian getting this potion, and so they just wrote the weirdest way to do it. Like, there was nothing natural about that plot. It felt really, really forced all the way around. I mean, starting with, oh yeah, they've been bickering for weeks. It's like, what? This is coming out of nowhere, you know? Yeah. And so I mean, let's start with there. And then it's like, the way that they chose to alter the characters' personalities, like, oh, we're going to give you, like, the opposite of your defining character trait. I thought it would be a lot more interesting if they had, like, drawn out a character trait that actually does exist in the character, but is buried under the rest of their personality. Like, what if Rapunzel had started acting more like Gothel? Because she was raised by Gothel. She's got that training in her somewhere. She knows how to be manipulative. She knows how to be snarky. She knows how to just be condescending. And so it would be really interesting if that had been her big thing. Or if, like, we know Eugene actually has insecurity. And so being, you know, anxiety-ridden is not the same as being insecure. Like, what if he had been doing dangdest to try to impress Frederick because he's so insecure about, you know, how all that's going on. He's still
that would have been
nervous.
so cute.
He is still really nervous about, you know, what Frederick thinks about him, as you find out in Way of the Willow that, you know, this is still eating at him. So it's like, I thought there was such better ways that they could have chosen to alter the characters' personalities. But that being said, the whole thing felt like, you know, it felt like a Tumblr roleplay where everybody was under a Magic-Anon. And it was just like, it was amusing, but it was like a crack fanfic. It didn't feel like a
felt
real
like
episode.
One of my crack theories, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much. It's because I love the crack theories. Like, I do think things could have been handled a lot differently, and that it is very, you know, out of character and it doesn't fit right, but I think this episode's freaking hilarious. I can watch it all the time.
I mean, honestly, the main reason I don't like it is because I just can't stand to watch Eugene act anything like myself. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be the strong one in this relationship. You can't be like that. So, yeah. It was
honestly,
I just watched it and I just, like, my shoulders went up to my ears because I was like, oh, God, oh, I can't. Oh, this is weird. I don't like it.
I will say, like, okay. But, I mean, on with things that I do specifically like about it, I do like that they stuck with the canon that Rapunzel doesn't like lemonade. Like, I don't know why she kept drinking it knowing she doesn't like lemonade, but, like, the fact that she doesn't like it is a canon thing, and I really enjoy that. The instant Dispel works on Eugene and he pronounces Cassandra's name correctly, I was like, oh shit. That was like so jarring. It was so weird.
I think one of my favorite parts is when Rapunzel calls, is it Stan or Pete Pinhead? I think it's Stan. She's like, what are you talking about, Pinhead? He's like, well, you just called me Pinhead. That's my favorite part. It gets me every time.
I do like that Rapunzel, that like the way that the spell worked, Rapunzel was able to realize that she wasn't acting like herself. Mm-hmm. Like out of nowhere, she's like, no, wait a minute. This actually isn't like me. Why am I in this mood? This is so weird. Mm-hmm. And I will say that while I don't enjoy Eugene being that way, I do specifically enjoy the line, I take full responsibility. No, wait, responsibility is terrifying. I'm like,
yeah, yes, I relate to that.
Same, that's relatable. Same.
I mean, first of all, him like taking responsibility is already outside of his personality. Like he wouldn't do that in the first place. Mm-hmm. He is so quick to pass the blame. Like so quick to pass the blame. Even if he's just joking, he is so quick to. Well, it's not my fault, you know. You should be more specific. But yeah, so I really like that line. But honestly, when the whole room gets fogged in the potion and everybody's personality switches, I really liked Ariana and I really liked the captain. Mm-hmm. I love how this just goes to show that like being diplomatic is like Ariana's default personality. She's like, no, I am like the cool-headed one in this group. Mm-hmm. You know, between me and Frederick, I'm the one who's always going to keep a nice, cool head. I'm going to be full of diplomacy. Mm-hmm. You know, and she's just putting her feet on the table and eating with her hands and yelling at people and asking for a brawl. But then, like, the captain being so childish was delightful. Like, first, we're like, why is he attacking his own daughter? I'm like, oh, he's just playing. He's like, this is like, he's an 8-year-old. This is his, which goes to show that his defining character trait is that he has to be mature all the time. Uh-huh. And it's like, that's like well beyond Cassandra, because Cassandra isn't interested in being mature necessarily. She's interested in being serious and sarcastic. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. And then they had that keep calling back to that, like, that giant thug who, like, has no personality, according to him. But, like, just, like, how Cass lets him in, then he's all like, gee, thanks for trusting me. She's like, yay. He, like, saves her butt because, like, they're friends now. It's like, that's legitimately how Rapunzel would have done things, you know? She would have made friends with somebody, and then they would have come and saved her butt later when she couldn't handle it anymore. In fact, it happened more than once. Mm-hmm. But, like, okay, so it's one of the few times it's ever happened in the series, but Rapunzel picking up the sword for defensive purposes was like, I know she never got to actually swing it on screen or anything, but that was like, I'm not the type of person to be all like, oh, a woman with a sword is automatically attractive, but like a woman I'm already attracted to picking up a sword is like, holy hell. Yep. You know? It's just like, no, go ahead. That's wonderful. I'll take 20. So, and then of course the great big, you know, out of nowhere, like, we were not expecting Varian to end out that episode for us. And so we now see that, like, he's actually putting his revenge plan into action because he gets this little flagon, which, by the way, I, like, want that bottle, like, really a lot. Like, it's great. I love it.
It's so cute.
Disney, make that bottle. That's never going to happen.
We can't even get the show back.
Exactly. Yeah. Episodes, we're never going to get that bottle. Especially not with it being a season 1 thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Dang, they are missing out on so much merch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so...
We have so much money. We're spending it on other things.
Yeah, Tangled, come on.
Be spending it on your merch.
You know, we're spending it on fantasy pins because we're that desperate for Tangled merch.
That is very true.
So true. All of us. We're like, no, I have so many fantasy pins that I don't need, but I've got them.
Sorry, Disney, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah, so yeah, I know that nobody was really expecting Varian to come back at that moment. That was like a really epic sort of like last 10 seconds of the episode. Mm-hmm. That was very surprising. But enjoyable regardless. And I think Kate boarded that last scene with Varian because I think they gave Kate Varian as often as possible. They're like, you like him? Here. But yeah, so those 2 episodes, they were both significant to the plot. I remember when after Queen for a Day came out, because I know we're talking about this being in production order and not in airing order, but I know that after a point, like, by the way, the last like 4 episodes of the series or of the season are like significant to the plot, and then they're like, totally significant to the plot. So
they had that whole like commercial. It was after, and we were like, "What? Nobody was expecting that."
Yeah. What? Oh, and okay, so just so you guys know, in case you hadn't seen yet, a couple podcasts ago, when we were talking about Queen for a Day, we had mentioned how funny it would be to go into the series theme song at the end of Queen for the Day instead of that really tense music. And my friend Kat actually made an edit of the video, and it is like ridiculously funny. Like, it is this 180 mood shift, and it's really funny to watch.
As soon as I press play, I'm just like giggling the whole time because I know it's coming.
I know what it's going to be, and I laugh all the time anyway. It's really funny, guys. So I've reblogged it a couple times. You can find it in my fan videos tag. It's great. I love it.
It's hilarious.
I will vlog it more because it's very funny. I mean, the best part is that it's exactly as funny as we thought it was going to be, which was very funny, you know? So, yeah, I guess that just about wraps it up for this time. Next time, we're going to be at least starting with Pascal's story.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have better news than just, here's episodes in Germany. We keep hoping for that, but I guess we're going to find out soon enough. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye!
Bye!